Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that cataclysmic disaster strikes the world. High magnitude earthquakes shake the tallest towers to the ground. Flash floods wash away the most stable buildings. The strongest tornadoes snatch up and devour what were thought to be untouchable structures. And hurricanes with winds of inconceivable force blow away houses by the millions. But one house stands through all the chaos and havoc. The United States Constitution serves as our unconditional and well-constructed shelter against the tides of political disaster. Many people might dismiss this description as a vulgar exaggeration of the role the Constitution plays in our nation. But although these events are obviously dramatized metaphors, the message remains the same. The United States Constitution serves as a foundation for a nation to grow upon through the Articles, a shelter that provides asylum from injustices through the amendments, and a dwelling that serves to strengthen itself through its own flexibility and elasticity. To examine the beginnings of our nation, we must analyze the works of our founding fathers, the architects and construction managers of our nation. Almost 213 years ago, 55 of the most intellectual and influential people gathered in a hot, sweltering hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to create a new government for a new people. Entering this constitutional convention, the unstable structure of the Articles of Confederation collapsed before the winds of weak central government. Citizens in each state were left politically depressed due to the irresponsibility of states minting their own currency and imposing tariffs on out-of-state goods. America fell into the deep abyss of debt and depression, while farmers in Massachusetts responded by protesting against the call for hard money in Shays' Rebellion. America at this time desperately needed a new government, desperately needed a new home. So in 1787, the architects in Philadelphia proposed a whole new blueprint. After 4 months of debating, planning, and compromising, a constitution for the people of the United States of America was made. Moses Sieggs has praised this new structure as a government erected by the majesty of the people, to which bigotry gives no sanction, to persecution no assistance, but generously affording to all liberties of conscience and immunities of citizenship. Like a small but well-built cottage, the Constitution now housed a new nation that clearly separated, checked, and balanced powers of the three branches of government. As a strong foundation for a nation to grow upon, the first three articles affix a plan for almost any circumstance for our citizens. It allows our government to regulate commerce, raise armies, or even declare war in the worst of times. It even provides a smooth transition when a leader has passed away or is removed. As seen in the preamble to our Constitution, our founding fathers wanted to create a government based upon the four principles of establishing justice, ensuring domestic tranquility, providing for the common defense, and promoting the general welfare. But now, like this small cottage, growing to be a grand house, the demand for change in a growing nation is inevitable. Article 5, the amendment process, provides future blueprints for any major addition to the Constitution. Through certain amendments, the Constitution has acted as a shelter to provide us asylum from injustices that have ravaged our nation's history. Before the Constitution was ratified, the lurking thunder of a potentially oppressive government was still feared. But like adding a huge new fixture to a home, leaders responded by adding the 10th Amendment Bill of Rights to our Constitution in 1791, assuring each American citizen of their political and religious freedoms, the right to bear arms, the right to free trial, fair trial, due process, and other rights not above enumerated. But in the mid-19th century, the storms of slavery and the outbreak of civil war badly damaged our nation. But in 1858, Abraham Lincoln would have appealed for reunion by immortalizing the words, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." But through literal reconstruction of our nation, we mended our house anew with Amendments 13 and 14, abolishing slavery and granting equal rights to all people of all races. Some of these fixtures I've talked about stay a while and then fall apart. In the early 20th century, the temperance movement swept through the nation as people called for immediate moral change. Amendment 18 answered the nation's call with the prohibition of alcohol. But as the prohibition of alcohol started getting unpopular with American citizens in the 1920s, this new fixture crumbled to its feet. In 1933, Amendment 21 finally bulldozed prohibition from the Constitution because of citizen unpopularity. And as citizens, we are encouraged to be involved in the actions of our government. We have been given the blessings of the structures of suffrage in Amendments 15, 19, 24, and 26, our dear voting rights. But, like a crumbling foundation that is not tended to or taken care of properly, our voting rights are being abused by our own citizens. In the last presidential election, 47%, only 47% of registered voters actually went out to vote. That means most of the American adult population was indifferent. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that democracy can only thrive when it enlists the devotion of the people. How do we expect our government to change without our input? Will we let apathy and lethargy destroy our house? Lastly, the Constitution serves as a dwelling that refurbishes itself every day. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18, the Elastic Clause, provides our government the power to make laws and statutes that are necessary and proper for the nation to grow, but are not directly stated in the Constitution, like adding new plumbing service, or connecting new wiring, or just adding a fresh coat of paint to a house. Our leaders have strengthened our nation by adding such statutes and acts such as Hamilton's federal banks, Jefferson's purchase of the Louisiana Territory, Social Security, welfare, and Medicare, that all fall under this great umbrella. President Lyndon Johnson mentioned the Constitution's elasticity by saying that the genius of the Constitution is that under its shelter of enduring principles and rooted institutions, there's ample room for the rich fertility of American political invention. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that the United States Constitution is the most marvelously elastic compilation of rules ever written. And like a massive mansion, the Constitution now houses a nation that is a world superpower. And although the Constitution has proven itself to be the most highest evolution of housing and sheltering of a government for its own people, for its own citizens, it is upon us, the individual citizen, to support it. Benjamin Franklin, after signing the final draft of the Constitution, was asked by a waitress, "Well, doctor, what have we got? A republic or a monarchy?" Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." Can we keep it, ladies and gentlemen? In order to do so, we must follow the words of the preamble to the Constitution, which state that we must secure the blessings of liberty not only to ourselves, but to our posterity. Today, don't let this 10-minute oration end for you. Take this message to your homes, schools, and offices. Take this message to your parents, grandparents, children, and friends. The Constitution is our home, but it is upon the shoulders of citizens that we lay the burdens of democracy. Secure our blessings of liberty by building strong pillars of citizenship to uphold and support our house, a nation and a constitution that our ancestors built, fought for, and shed blood over. Thank you.